Good evening everyone, this is Kaifu here. Today I have a deck profile for you guys. Today's deck profile will be based on Dracula, a mono black deck. So it was simply requested because people were asking me what kind of good darkness or black deck out there in the Bifrost format. So this is simply one of the strongest or the strongest black or darkness deck out there at the moment. Simply is really strong. So in this video I'll be giving you my own deck list, my own recipe of the deck, and you guys can tweak it to your own style, like make it better for yourself to your own style. And also I'll be talking about the strength and weaknesses of this deck. So let's get on with the video, guys. In this video, I'll be doing a deck profile on Dracula. Like I said earlier in the video, Dracula is one of the strongest, either strongest J ruler out there or the strongest J ruler out there, because simply it's really easy to put him on the battlefield. Let's talk about his rule side for now. His rule side is not that good because all he does is that tap and make 300 defense, but it's really good if you go second with him, because simply you can tap him during your opponent's turn. If you guys didn't know, ruler does not have summoning sickness. He's just on the ruler area, so ruler area does not count as a field, so he doesn't get a summoning sickness. So if you're going second, it's really good. You'll be wondering why is it good going second with a vampire deck. Now I'll tell you why. First of all, what you usually do is that your opponent will play a tap for the magic stone, tap for the magic stone if they play a 1-drop. If not, then they pass their turn. Usually they will drop a 1-drop in Bifrost format, like the Hunters, Tinkerbells, whatever and so on. Usually they are 300 defense or lower, or if not, then even lower. It's either 300 or 200. So it's really easy to kill. So when they end their turn, you can actually during the end phase, you can tap your ruler to negate 300 defense to your opponent's resonator. Now, by negating the 300 resonator, you can actually destroy the resonator. You'll be wondering, well, why would you do that? My ruler is in rest position, so that means I can't go to my magic stone area after my turn. So not really, because if you guys didn't know the mechanic of this game, whoever goes first cannot conduct the draw phase or conduct the recover phase. However, if you're going second, you conduct your draw phase and you conduct your recover phase. So simply, during your turn, you draw for turn, then hit your recover phase, you recover your ruler, and then go to your main phase and tap for a magic stone. Simply, this is how powerful this is. Same with Abdul. Abdul have a similar ability on the ruler side. Tap it to negate 300 defense to a resonator. So really strong overall. And putting him on using his J active is really simple overall. You pay 0. Now, in order to pay 0, you have to meet the following requirement. First of all, you must have a vampire resonator on your side of the field. Second of all, you must destroy something, destroy a resonator to be exact, destroy a resonator on your opponent's side field and go to the graveyard. And when you do, you pay 0, flip him over to the J ruler side. Now once you flip him to the J ruler side, it's really difficult to tackle. Reason why is flying. A flying J ruler is nothing to laugh at, because simply he just attack you 4 times, you're dead. So simply, for example, you flip this on turn 2, attack once, attack twice, attack a 3rd time, and so on, and simply they will die from there. And not only that, he has another ability called Imperishable. Imperishable means that if this J ruler dies, it goes back to the ruler form, keeping all its ability, meaning you can J activate once more time. Now usually if your J ruler dies, you usually do not go back to your ruler form. If you die, for example, say for example my J ruler die, right? Say it's another J ruler like Odin, Van Housing and so on, like something like that. When it dies, it goes back to the ruler form. Not ruler form, but goes back to the ruler area in your J ruler form. So making that, telling your opponent you cannot J activate for the rest of the game. But however, thanks to Dracula's ability, you're able to go back to your ruler form and keep all your abilities, including the negate 300 defense, and also the pay 0 J activation as long control vampire and destroy something this turn. Now let's talk about his last ability, a really deadly ability. Now what this card does is that when this card dealt damage to a resident and sent to the graveyard, it goes back to your side of the field in your control as a vampire additional attribute. to the additional race. So pretty much what this means that is simply I steal your dude if you block me, I steal your dude if you you try to attack me, if I decide to block. It's a really scary rule to go up against because you can't actually beat it like a one-on-one battle. You fight it, they steal it. So even you kill it by battle, for example, say your opponent's resonator is a 10-10, so equal to your attack 10-10. So if they both battle, you're still able to steal the resonator. Reasons why is because the quote says that whenever this card dealt damage, that's the keyword, dealt damage, that's where it first triggered. Now, you read it one by one, I'll read it for you guys. Whenever a resonator your opponent controls is put into your graveyard, if it was dealt damage by this card this turn. Now, because it doesn't have to go to the graveyard yet, it says when it was dealt damage first, and then so on. Now, since there is a and then you put it onto your under your control and gains Nightmare and Vampire into addition to its own race. So you've been wondering, I'm confused. How can it steal a resonator when they both die at the same time? Easy. Now let's say for example, let's put an example right here. Say for example this resonator is a 10-10 equal power to Dracula, right? So say I declare an attack, it's flying. Say this resonator is also flying. They both battle, right? His 1,000 to my 1,000 defense, my 1,000 defense to his 1,000 defense. Now, at this point, this is where it triggers, because it will start a stack as soon Dracula dealt a damage. Now, when it dealt damage, it started a stack, and from there, it goes to the graveyard. And from there, when it goes to the graveyard from there, it resolves in the stack. So meaning I still able to steal your resonator, because as long as I dealt damage to by Dracula, I'm able to steal your resonator regardless if I die or not. So that's why Dracula out here is one of the most powerful J-Ruler out there in Origin format and in Bifrost format. The reason why it's not been playing in Bifrost format is because that it takes a little time to set up overall. So that's why Dracula is really good and bad at the same time. Sometimes slow, sometimes fast. I think I've been blabbing about enough with Dracula. Let's get on with the Magic Stone, guys. For the Magic Stone lineup, I play 4 red blacks. Just excuse me because I don't have actually all my red black stones, so I'm proxying like 3 of them for now. So bear with me. 4 black green. So pretty much you have your black green for your council spell, your elf plays and so on in your sideboard, if you or better in your main board. Just a regular black stone and a true black stone. Now true black stone, what it does is that you can tap this along with a dark will to negate 200 defense to a resonator. So simply you're weakening your opponent's defense and running over easily during your turn before you hit your recover phase. So yeah, nothing to explain here. I'll explain these later. The reds are really important in this deck because it allows you to use a really good card in the 2 Tower series to make this deck really amazing. Black green's in here because you can actually play your control card like such your Zeg the Ancient Magic, Absolute Cake Zone and so on, Law of Silence if you want to play those on this line. And these 2 are there just cause because they feel, just saying. So let's get on with the main deck itself. Here's what everyone's waiting for, the main deck itself. For the main deck, I play 4 Service of the Vampire and 4 Elfish Bowman. So these are my 1-drop of the deck. Now you can simply replace Elvish Bow with like Cash Cat if you want to play Black Blue instead, or you can replace it with Hunter if you really want to. Now, simply why I choose Elvish Bowman is because that in the Bifrost format, there's a lot of heavy edition like Field Edition, Edition Resonator, like such as the Mirror Match Edition and also Musketeers and so on. It actually causes a lot of problematic stuff. So this allows you to remove the problematic edition and and it's a simple 1 cost as well, so you can play it really easily if you hit your dual stone. Vampire stuff obviously is in here because it's an instant guaranteed protection to all your bigger vampires such as your Camellia, your Star, even Dracula, because it doesn't say, you can't target a vampire on the field, so it doesn't state resonator, so meaning your Dracula will be safe away from those funders and so on. Really good overall. That's all the 1-drops I play. Let's go on to the 2-drops. For the 2-drops I play 4 Lauras, 3 Vampire stuff, 2 Cinderellas, and 2 Vampire Bat. So let's talk about Laura. Laura is an instantly stable max 4 in any vampire deck, simply because it allows you to search for any vampire cards in your deck and add it to your hand. So in this case, it's pretty much like a Stratos to you guys, or a Rhoda or whatever, with a body as an early 2 cost. Simply you search your deck out and thin the deck out to your out the deck by one. That one card by thinning out can actually guarantee you draw into your card way faster than your opponent. Vampire stuff is in here because it's actually one of really good vampire, because you slowly draining your opponent down by getting beat down by Dracula or any other your vampire. By draining down them slowly, they have a time limit. By having a time limit, you gaining life at the same time and they losing life. When it comes to the time in the round, whoever has the most life wins. And vampire stuff is one of those cards that allows you to drain life and gain life during time round. Cinderella's in here. I've only played 2 because simply it's not a vampire, so it's not searchable. So if I draw into it, it's not that amazing compared to like all these. Cinderella's is also stable with any darkness deck because it allows you to actually search for a card you need to recycle, or allows you to burn 200 damage to the whole entire field your opponent controls. Really good card overall. You can play 3, but I choose to play 2 because I don't think Cinderella's needed as much. And next we have 2 Vampire Bats. Vampire Bats is only here because it's a flyer, so I mean I can block this Pumpkin Witch play and so on. Not only that, if I have enough darkness magic, then I can make this guy really big and swing for large damage and gain that X amount of life. So it's a really good card overall, but I will not play more than 2 because simply it doesn't do much in the early game because it's a 0-2. So if I have it in my hand, it's like whatever, doesn't do anything much. Let's go on with the free drops. In the free drops, I only play 3 cards, which is 3 Deadman Prince, searchable by Cinderella. Why is in here? Obviously, it's a good card. It recycles your big cards, like such as Camellia, recycles your Vampire Star, recycle your Servants, recycle your Laura to search more. Like, what more will we ask for a Deadman Prince? It's a good recycler. Now for the 4 drops, this is what the deck shines the most. 3 Camellias. Camellia is searchable by Laura, play on the field, destroy a non-vampire. If it's a human, you can control Dracula and you kill the human resonator on your opponent's side field, steal it instead. So it's a really good card overall. It's instant or a +1. Regardless if you're versing human or not, you can kill and get a +1 out of this. That's why every deck out there who plays Darkness should always play Camellia, because it's simply a strong card. You drop it, kill something, and it's an 8/8 body. What more do you want? If you kill a human, great, you get an additional ability as long as you control Dracula or the ruler form. So really good overall. That's all the resonator I play. I think I play around 24 or 25 resonators, so the rest should be at least spells, 15 spells. So let's go on with the spell lineup, guys. For the spell lineup, I play 3 Stunning to Death, 4 Bloodsucking Impulse, 2 Demon Castle, 2 Cinderella Slippers, 4 Duel of Truth, and 1 Resurrection of Vampire. Now I'll explain all these spells I play and why. Stunning to Death is an instant staple in any dark deck, especially this one, because this destroys something as an instant. So before you recover base, kill something, you control a vampire, excellent, you get the free J activate. So you can kill like a really big threatening card, and it's always a staple overall. Bloodsucking Impulse, you combine this with Dracula, it's become a really deadly combo because it doesn't state that target a vampire resonator, also state target a vampire, so you can target your Dracula and then combo off, then killing your opponent resonator, stealing them, for example. You can even suicide to a really high cost like equal attack as Dracula, and you steal it, you gain life and you steal a card. What more can you ask? It's a really good card and it doesn't do battle damage. You are the one doing damage to it, so you don't get any damage to your Dracula, so meaning it's still at full health. So really good card overall. Now, next to Demon Castle. Demon Castle is here just because in the mirror match that whoever has the highest, strongest vampire on the field actually have a strong chance of winning. Because, for example, a Dracula with 12 attack, 12 defense actually beats over a 10-10 Dracula, so that's why it's really good. And not only that, it allows you to recycle your vampire, so another good recycle card along with Deadman Prince. Cinderella Slippers in here because simply you can act as a removal spell, or you can activate as a addition spell to add to your Cinderella or vampire stuff to buff them to 1000 point. Sorry, that was my phone. I'm going to turn that off. So yeah, that's why it's in here. And 4 Duel of Truth. this card is really dirty against anything, and simply because you're using Dracula. Because when you can target a J-Ruler or Resonator you control, mostly you target your Dracula, and they both battle. Mostly your Dracula will win the battle, and you're able to steal their dudes. So pretty much you're playing like 4 Bloodsucking Impulse, you can say. Really deadly overall. And lastly, I play 1 Resurrection of Vampire, just in case you actually need this vampire in your grave to activate the enter ability during your opponent's turn, such as Camellia for example. So that's all the spell line I play. Let's go and talk about the strength and weaknesses of this deck. So what are the strengths? What are the weaknesses of this deck? Well, let's talk about the strength first. First of all, Dracula has the strongest matchup against every deck, especially Grim, because Grim cannot handle Dracula's stealing ability. For example, if they put like 4 Tinkerbells on the field and 2 Hamlet or whatever on the field and they have no protection, you simply win the battle because of Dracula. For example, they're stunning to death one of them, making a 10-10, then they use Bloodsucking Impulse, kill one of them, kill one of the Tinkerbells, and they steal it at the same time, then use Duel of Truth, kill another one, and swing with Dracula for high damage or into another Resonator and steal another one. And they gain a lot of advantage from that because this deck has so much destruction power. You can actually stop your opponent field presence, so meaning they're winning from there. Even if you survive with 100 life point, as long as they don't burn you, you simply win the game because you Dracula steal all the Resonator and use it against them. Simple as that. Real simple as that. Not only that, the deck itself creates a lot of pluses, so such as your turn 2 play Laura Search, your Cinderella Pressure, because when it dealt damage you can search, or you can play Vampire Staff. You drain them slowly to the point that it's in range of Dracula attack when it's on the battlefield, and it has protection with Vampire Staff, and you have a flag to block, and so you have a Camellia, one of your ace card in this deck to destroy a resident on the field to gain pluses. And not only that, most of your spell in here is also mostly a removal spell, like 3 Stone in there, 4 Bloodsucking, but 4 Duel of Truth. What more do you want? Like simply, the deck is too strong, but however, whenever it's too strong, there's always weaknesses, because no such thing is a perfect deck out there. Now, the weakness of this deck is mainly versus green, because green is pretty much one of the strongest weakness, or this biggest weakness of this deck. Because, for example, if they go because green usually mana ramp, and when they mana ramp, they put the big dudes on the field faster than you do, so you simply have to catch up that slowly. And not only that, the green has also had access to Law Silent. So if they silent you so many times in one go, for example, I versed my friend who was using Dracula, and I was in Puss in Boot, and I had a kind of terrible hand, but it turned to my favor because I kept drawing Law Silent. So I Law Silent, and then drop Pumpkin Witch for game, like literally like that. He couldn't drop Camellia, he couldn't drop anything. All he had was a Cinderella on the field, and I Law Silent one more time. He's like, good game. He can't do anything because Law Silent actually hurt this deck if you can't play anything on the field on the 4th turn or so on, and really bad. Second worst matchup of all is pretty much either Abdul, because Abdul is not the worst matchup, but it does slow your deck down. If you haven't noticed, most of your vampire build is enter ability, like your Laura's and your Deadman Prince and Camilla. Well, obviously Deadman Prince is not a vampire, but it has an enter skill obviously, so it slows down your whole engine, so you can't search and so on. And not only that, Abdul has twice per turn to negate any card effect on the field, so you can negate your protection from service, you can negate your effect from Vampire Bat, so you're losing a flying ability and so on, and get run over really easily. And it's really because of that, it's kind of hard to verse against Abdul, but versing Abdul, you have a chance of winning as long as you draw your Duel of Truth against them, because most of the time you'll be versing your J-Rule to their J-Rule, obviously. Not only that, they offer you a really good Magic Stone, a true Magic Stone or a special Magic Stone. It allows you to neg the opponent's defense, coming closer to in range for Cinderella's burn spell to actually flip for your J-Ruler. Not only that, what also a good strength about this, because you can actually keep spamming his J activation, making a strong position for you, because you can J activate anytime you want. And guess what? It's free as long as you control a vampire and you destroy a resident on your opponent's turn. On your opponent's field during your turn. That's why. That's it. So a real simple deck to use, not that hard. You can change it to yourself. You can play Law Silent, you can play Absolute Cake Zone, you can play Z the ancient magic, or you can play black blue with Cash Cat or and so on. But I prefer this build because it's really simple and really easy to use. Not much to think, and also you can play Thunders as well if you want, because this deck does play red black. You can use play Thunder as well to burn your opponent damage with range into your Dracula's attack. But I don't actually have the space at the moment for Thunder, so that's why I didn't add it in. And I think Thunder is not my main priority, so that's the reason why. So yeah, thank you for watching, thank you for listening guys. Hope you guys enjoyed this video and hope this helped you guys in the US, because this is what they're getting in the US at the moment, this coming Friday. So yeah, talk to you next time. Peace.